Hey guys, Stealth here. We're looking at a replay from a very, very rare deck. This is a Canadian Motorized. Now normally people just go for a Commonwealth Motorized or a Commonwealth General, but BaronvonBoyce, who we're following in this video, has a completely different thinking pattern, and he goes for a Canadian Motorized, which makes it so that he has a lot of units available, quite a bit of command points, and the units that he does have, because of the motorized specialization, are of very high veterancy. Especially the infantry and the vehicle tab gain advantage from that. By the looks of it, he's going right into this forest. We got Matka's Bad over here in India, so that's going to be his wingman. And let's see if the other maps spread out. We got we got Heli Kitty, Overlord, Busting Wigs in here. This is Emblazoned Furion. Let's skip it up, see how the opening goes. As you can see, he's going in with a lot of vehicles. Some Wolverines, some Grizzlies, some Bisons. Everything that he has is extremely mobile, except for the command infantry and an M35. Everything is about, I think, 80 to 100 kph off-road. So he should be able to cross this river quickly if he wants to take this route. I think he could get up here with his AVs, APCs if he wanted to, but he might just take this road and veer off. As you can see, it's a 10v10, but not on our typical 10v10 maps, but this is a map that is still big enough to house 10 players, and the conflicts that you see here are usually quite intense, because the 10 players have to contend over a smaller area. Now, in the notes of this video, Baron mentioned that he had no idea that his ally over here was going to do an artillery bombardment on this town, effectively locking them out of this area. If he did, he could have pushed up a bit further. Instead, he decided to go into the forest, which was his initial plan. And you can see that because he immediately has these bisons with him, these mortar carriers, he can quickly suppress any units which may have made it towards the town. And he's putting up a smoke screen to either cover his friend's forces, his Highlanders and his Pioneers, or maybe he's going to come up with his own vehicles. And he does have Leopard C2s over here. Red 4 is responding. A lot of APCs over here. A Jalo by the looks of it. Exit Jalo. Yeah, a lot of BTR 60 PBs, BTR 70s. Some autocannon fire here. And of course the area gets napalmed, because that's what you do in a town. Now I hope that Baron can push up this side pretty quick, because there are a lot of targets over here, and if you let these infantry guys get into the buildings over here, it's not going to be easy to root them out. What the hell are these in the first place? Oh, that's a lot of AA teams. Iglas and Concours, that's where they're two-man teams. A couple of Grizzlies pushing up, a Bison. One Bison got destroyed, but the Canadian Airborne made it out alive. And these guys with their Carl Gustaf M2 should make short work of these T-55 AMVs. But there's a lot of dangerous stuff in here, and they just pretty much lost the left flank. Hopefully the right flank can help out. He does have Wolverines, but nothing any of the heavy AT capability. I know that Highlanders do have that capability, but it's the Eric's launcher, so it's a 1000 meter weapon instead of the 2625 or 2450 of some high-end ATGMs. Well, the first guy left. I'm just going to call him 007, NATO player. I'm not sure where he was operating, but I think that if you leave in the first, 3 minutes of the match, you may not be the right material to play Wargame. Javelins are engaging, missing both. Wolverines getting involved, killing the helicopter. Bit of a micromanage here by the Pathfinders. I'm not sure why they're out in the open. Maybe he was busy relocating them, but I would start pushing them into those forests right away. Still a lot of fighting going on in this town. Not a lot left of his initial APCs. He still does have some Grizzlies, and the Canadian Airborne have done a lot of damage to the vehicles, it seems. But they are running out of ammo. They only got 2 rounds left. This might be a Buratino launch, but I think it's a standard BM-24 because the pattern's not close enough together. So they're trying to keep him away from this area. And he has his tanks on fire support right here, as he mentioned in the description. But those tanks are going to be in trouble, especially against 2 T-72 Modernas. So he has to pull those out. Ooh, high price target. Let's see if anyone marks that. A couple of UBIs are coming in. And we got some more APCs. We got some more autocannon APCs as well. Let's see, he's bringing in some more stuff. Some more CH-47s or 147s. Still they're Chinooks. I think that they could have coordinated their CVs a bit better over here, especially this. This is just a 200 point target waiting to get hit. And this CV from Baron might have been useful in this area. If he could have put that command infantry in that forest, that would have given them 3 more income from India. But of course, as always, it's easy for me to say because I wasn't actually in the game. Leopard C2 is pounding the Lirens. Recon infantry, I'm not sure whether they're pushing with 5-man recon squads towards this town. Especially into pioneers. But okay. Moderna's taking a heavy beating. Almost died there. And I hope that he can reinforce this town quickly. These Highlanders were offloaded by the Chinooks. But for some reason they're not pushing into the town. He may have just brought these in, queued the order to offload them, and then forgot about them. Or he's micromanaging this area, which is my guess. Again, highlighting the importance of having mortar support. Of course, these guys with their AA launchers don't have a chance against anything out here. But still, having mortars in here would really help. Highlanders took a big hit from the airplane, but they survived, so both squads are still alive. And I hope that they can be resupplied, because they are very, very good squads. They're elite, both of them. Now at 9:30, so that was about 20 seconds ago, you saw that bomber come in, hit the Highlanders, and Baron noted in the replay that his AA was out of position. Yeah, it was a little bit. The Wolverine could have been on this side, but again, it's easy for me to say. Another guy left the game. Baltic Bird. Yeah, right over here. Red 4. These Wolverines could have pushed up there, and the Javelins could have moved up. But again, he already recognized this mistake, so I don't have to ponder on it too much. Now it's about time for some resupplies. This guy is pretty boldly sitting out in the open. They're now smirching the town. Unfortunately for them, there is no vehicle in here. Well, this was accurate fire. They must have eyes on this thing. These guys are coming in at precisely the wrong moment. I hope they're not going to get hit by artillery. But those Canadian airborne units definitely need some reinforcements, and especially new ammunition. Highlanders are in a good position over here. They can cover this road. And this road has a small dip in it, which means that only if vehicles arrive over here, they can start firing at the Highlanders and vice versa. So this should be a pretty good position for the Highlanders to be in. But he's relocating them, maybe towards this building. Now, what I'm missing over here is a bit of recon. They do have the Pathfinders over there, they got Pathfinders over there. I suppose having Pathfinders over here or a recon chopper nearby would have been helpful. But I'm not sure about the AA in there, so they might not have been safe to bring in a command helicopter or a recon helicopter.
I can hear the bullets whistling by me.
The command infantry is pushing up. He's probably going to where I said he should be going, which is about there. ADATs from Mad 'Cause Bad took a lot of fire here. Another wave of napalm comes in. They really want them out of the town here. Now, a situation like this, he has the town very well under his control, but the question is, what is the next step going to be? Because you can try to push over across this bridge. Good luck, because there's probably an entire firing line over here. You can try to come in with helicopters, but again, you're landing pretty much on top of a spawn point. So helicopters deploying infantry here are going to get shot down either by AA or by air superiority fighters. Let's see what Red 4 actually has in here. Not that much, really. Not that much. I'd expected a bit more. But pushing out from this area is difficult. It's both difficult for Red 4 to start pushing in and for Blue 4 to start pushing out. So they're pretty much in a stalemate here. Nobody's going anywhere, and they're just resupplying and repairing their units. The scores are now 1985 for Red 4 versus 75 for Blue 4, so they are leading. Canadian Airborne took out a vehicle there. These guys have 18 AP power on their Carl Gustaf M2. Let's hope that's enough to quickly kill that Moderna, which I briefly saw over there. Pioneers are coming in. Oh, this is trouble. I hope the Leopard C2 can take care of that before they arrive. Assault Pioneers got butchered by the BMP2s. And the Canadian Airborne is being butchered by the Modernas, while virtually not doing any damage to them. So that was a bit unfortunate. You want to take these guys out as quickly as possible, because they do have concours, and those can be dangerous against tanks. Now let's see, this plane probably was evac'd at the last possible moment, before actually doing anything. More motor shoots are coming in. I'm expecting mortar fire to start landing on those soon. Let's see. Looks like he's just going to kill the infantry with maybe the Leopard C2, as far as that thing can still hit anything in its panicked state. And the Highlanders here combined are going to have to take these guys out. You can see just how short the range is on these Arex launchers, because these things are still not in range while they are detected. Another cluster munitions wave comes in. Now I'm curious, who is firing this and how many points does he have? This is Gamerzelf, and he has 0 points. Well, if you're only going to be firing artillery, I suppose you don't deserve a lot of points if you just randomly point and click and hope for the best. Those are not the kind of players I'm a big fan of, as you might have noticed. Because they're not actually adding anything to the team. This? I'm not sure what this was. Mad 'Cause Bad did some sort of helo attack here, or he tried to attack the helos with rocket pods, but that plane got taken out right away. Now the mortars open up, and I'm not entirely sure on what, probably some of the APCs or IFVs over there. And there is some long-range artillery going on. Not his. These are Tino Becan A1 vehicles. Now his setup is pretty solid here. He has AA, both Wolverines and the Javelins. He has supplies to keep those things firing. He has some tanks. He had 2, one of them got blown up. And he has some infantry over here, but it is not a very, very tough setup. If Red 4 is determined to push in here, they can. They're going to lose a lot of forces, but they can. Now this is probably going to hurt some of these Wolverines. Yeah, one of them got wiped out. One of them barely survived. This thing only got one block of health left.
Starting to get dangerous here.
He has Eric's launchers over here, which are going to be covering probably these pathfinders, so that if something comes up either of these roads, he has it covered. Oh yeah, sure. Let me guess who that was. Yep, Gamer's Elf. 0 points. Keep it up, buddy. You're doing a good job. Sorry, less of the sarcasm. Let's see. He has all of these units. Now where can he push? I think the first area he has to clear is this area of forestation. But how do you get in there? Because if you try to push in with infantry, you're going to get wiped out by the Modernas with their main gun and their autocannons, and there's Gunanonmets in there. So he could try... Oh, look who I found. He could try to push in with infantry, supported heavily by mortars, but mortars are not going to do a lot against those Modernas either. Somebody marked the spot, and I can barely tell who that was. Sorry guys, I genuinely cannot read what it says above Moderna ×2. My color blindness is preventing me from seeing a lot of difference there, so it just says Moderna ×2 for me. MiG-29s are coming in, but Su-25s as well. Not going towards this area, so they have something else in mind. And yeah, pretty good idea as well, because this is not a very safe setup. No AA over here. A lot of attack markers going up by Matka's bad. Is anyone actually responding to that? These Bacans are engaging. But what are they firing at? These mortars are suppressing the infantry over here and try to take out their vehicles, which did take a hit, but nothing really serious. Oh, they're doing long-range counter battery, maybe. Now, let's have a show of the Highlanders and their Erics. I remembered these things as being slower, the Eric's launchers, but they're not bad. Okay, another attack comes in, and this time I think it's a Buratino. The way I recognize this is that the Buratino has a pretty small area of effect. The BM-24, or the PHZ-70, which we saw fire earlier, has more dispersion. And especially since it's farther away from the battlefield, it's going to affect a larger area, but with less napalm. These things have a dispersion that's 3640, and this is how you can distinguish the two. Distinguishing these two is important, because once you know that the dispersion is less, you know that you're dealing with a Buratino, you have the possibility to take down a 140 point target, whereas these things are 65 points. So investing in units to take down this Buratino is a lot more efficient than trying to take down those guys, because they're mostly annoying. These guys can actually burn you out of buildings. Scores are 47.75 versus 32.65, and I have an idea which way this game is gonna go. First Leopard C2 has been brought in.
Finally, some action.
These guys narrowly escaped a Smirch run, and probably again an attack by Gamer's Elf, who still has scored 0 points, but who's draining supplies like crazy. So that's a very, very inefficient use of your resources. But hey, maybe he was trying out a new deck. Anyway, BaronvonBoyce is doing a very good job here with his points. He has scored 820. And that's mostly because of his own effort. What the hell is this? Why would you engage that area with napalm? There's nothing there. This is mostly due to his own effort, but also because his ally is operating in the same area. That makes it a little easier to operate on this side. And unfortunately they seem to be both using Canadians. which does limit their availability and their options, because they don't have any really high-end anti-tank weaponry. And having a Challenger 2, for example, here, right here near this forest, would be very, very useful. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this town is pretty susceptible to being taken over, if they are determined. And apparently they are. They're dedicating quite some resources here. I am not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name. I'm just going to call him Mitt. Mitt's pushing in with his forces. A couple of Sapperies left, a couple of T-72As, and some Motorschützen from Dakila. Dakida, what does it say there? Yeah, Dakila 01. Wordchill has left, a Red 4 player. Good bombing run here. Took out at least one tank, maybe two. And he immediately makes use of that weakened T-72 to push in with his Canadian Airborne. We got one very, very heroic Highlander going up here. Another guy left, that's on the Red 4 player. Well, this could be interesting. 10 Granatomets versus, yeah, only one Canadian Airborne. Who is firing at that position? Tino. Tino, for fuck's sake, coordinate with your teammates. You just cost Baron a ton of troops over there. I'm not sure where Tino is operating exactly. It might be the middle. He might be in a support deck. I don't see him anywhere here, so I think he's doing mostly support. And based on his score, he's doing a good job. 11-20 points, which is the most of their team. But please, if you use a support deck, give an attack marker, or put down an attack marker to let people know where you're going to push. Because this could have been prevented. And this was a pretty significant loss of life for Baron over here. Because he just lost his Canadian riflemen, or Canadian, yeah, what were they? Canadian rifles, I guess, to the mortars, or the artillery from his own side. Now we got Volkskammerjäger pushing up. These guys are the Danish troops, so that is what, sorry guys, Norwegian. I always get the flags mixed up. They're pushing up against these guys in the town with their light machine gun 3, but I'm hoping that they're not going to get taken... Oh, sorry, it's an air superiority fighter. I was going to say I hope they don't get bombed right away. Over here he's trying to draw fire with his bisons, it seems. Maybe he's just trying to see what kind of response he's getting. Another artillery push. Probably by Gamer's Elf, who has still scored 0 points. What a surprise. Just blind firing artillery rarely works. You gotta have a target. And I don't think that... Yeah, there's nobody who can make use of the troops which may have been shaken or panicked over here. So this was absolutely useless, this artillery. But then again, he doesn't seem to be the brightest player of artillery. Gamer's Elf surrenders. Good job, you. You've done, what, 8 artillery strikes and killed 0 units. And then you leave. Yeah, welcome to Wargame. This cargo could have pushed up into the town. I'm not sure how much AA there is, but I think that if they landed over here, they can start to repair the Wolverine, reinforce the command squad, maybe repair the Centurion a bit, and provide some support base for the infantry operating in this town. Okay, so there is some AA. Strop 2. I still think that they could have landed safely in this bush over here. Mortars are engaging those strop over there. I'm not sure. I think it was one strop 2, not 2 strops. I think Baron forgot about this CH-147. Because he's not resupplying his trucks at that position either. So he might have just forgotten about it. Blue 4 leading by 2600 points difference. So this game is pretty much decided. But let's see what happens in the last 8 minutes. Here comes another artillery strike. Based on dispersion, that's still the Buratino, who has barely moved. Whew. That was close. Well, are they gonna make it out? Run. Run, where are you? Come on, stand up, man. Get out of there. Jesus. Well, he already announced that this was going to happen, so I did see it coming. He said, well, my command team is down to 1 man. I should have repositioned it after the first artillery strike. Yeah, maybe, but you don't know if he was going to put 1 napalm round down there and the other attack there, so maybe you should have repositioned it. I don't know. Mid surrenders. Mid was the one who did the push on this town. And by now, I think that War Chile has left, Mid has left, Osarinha has left, Gamers Elf has left. So again, as usual, it's no longer a 10v10, but more like a, I don't know, 9v5 or something like that. Surprisingly low amount of supplies in here. If I was in control of this town, I would bring a bit more supplies to keep my guys firing and to keep them resupplied. And now they're trying to push over this area. Pathfinders are down to 2 men, I think only 1 based on the hit bar. And there goes another plane, killed by 2 Block 15s by Tino. Hang on, he's using Block 15s? Oh yeah, right, of course. Scandinavian deck. Now the next thing we're supposedly going to see is a amphibious attack to avoid the strong enemy position covering the bridge, allowing me to attack enemy artillery. Suf surrenders. Suf is another Red 4 player. And I'm wondering where he's going to do that amphibious push. It might be over there, so that he doesn't have to encounter vehicles over there. Hopefully that's it. But these leopards of course cannot swim, so they will have to draw some fire from this bridge. Wolverines are amphibious units, so they can float right along with the grizzlies and the bisons to go across that river. J. Will has left, that's another Red 4. And by now the game is pretty much over. Blue 4 is pushing up all over this flank. Bisons are pushing up a smokescreen. Well done. But pushing over this river is still very dangerous. There could be forces out there with ATGMs deploying ATGMs onto these vehicles. There could be vehicles in here, there could be helicopters. So a smokescreen like this, I would take a bit more time for it, get a bit more mortars in here, and deploy a larger smokescreen, so that the enemy doesn't really know where you're going to come in. But it is still providing fire or cover from enemy fire, if there was anything in those bushes. Which there isn't, but he didn't know that. There's just 1 Wilk, without recon I might add, so he's pretty blind. So the only thing he's engaging now are these Prem S mortar carriers. Pushing in with the vehicles. Centurion Marksman. What is he doing? Yeah, he's gonna move across that bridge. 1 artillery gets taken out. Good push with the Canadians there. Canadian Airborne. Come on, can you get the other ones as well? Yep. He spots a Buratino and 2 more artillery batteries. Hopefully he can get the CV as well. That would be a nice addition to his points. Raven comes in. 0 AA. 1 one infrared manpads and one MiG. MiG gets taken down by the Eagle. And a pretty large air response by Razoric, who almost manages to take down one Hornet. One MiG, that's third MiG gets taken down. 3 more are being brought in. I'm thinking that at this point Razoric might be alone, seeing the amount of vehicles he's bringing in. Now this is a bit weird. These guys are just casually strolling through, not hitting the Buratino, but he's probably trying to find the command vehicle, which is definitely the right play here, because the Buratino at this point is not the biggest threat. The command vehicle is, because the command vehicle allows them to bring in new forces. So take that out and you win the game. And they found it right here. A UAZ hiding behind a tree. But even with poor optics, and poor optics on the Bison as well, they still find it. So now this game is completely decided, with a point difference of over 5,000 points, or actually a little under, but let's say 5,000 points. They have definitely won this game. Artillery gets taken down. PHC 70 gets napalmed, but that doesn't really damage the vehicle that much. Yeah, there you go. They did manage to take it down. Capture the fob, which was empty. Well, I suppose Gamer Z already emptied that FOB out completely using that constant artillery strike of him. Bisons are trying... I'm not sure what they're trying. Maybe they're getting into cover. And they're being resupplied by this fob, but they're only passing out ammo. Maybe he disabled the fuel and the spare parts on those. So, very, very good play by BaronvonBoyce. Scored 2,095 points, lost 715. For a Canadian Motorized deck, he was doing everything right. He had the right vehicles and the right infantry at the right location at the right time. There are some things which he could have done better, but in the description that he gave me, he already pointed out a lot of stuff. And I've pasted that description in the description below this video, so that you can see what kind of pointers he gave after watching his own game. Baron, well played with Canadian Motorized. I'm also going to paste your deck code below the video if anyone else wants to have a look at this Canadian deck. I personally like the Canadians. I think they have great infantry and great vehicles, but they lack some stuff in some areas, like heavy anti-tank capability of long range. I know some planes have that capability, but still it might not be enough. So that's why I try to avoid Canadian Motorized, but let me know what you think of that deck and this gameplay. Let me know in a comment below. I look forward to hearing from you. Also, please share this video with your friends so that others can as well benefit from the good play of BaronvonBoyce, teaching them how to play this game. Hope you liked watching this video. If you did, hit like, and if you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. And for now, I hope to see you in the next video.